Are you scrambling to find more time in your days? Is the lack of time making you feel overwhelmed and increasing your level of stress? Well, in today's video, we'll be going over critical mental shifts that need to happen to change how we look at time so that we can reclaim our lost time and uncover when we're at our best. We'll be utilizing the book At Your Best by Carey Nieuwhof, diving into chapters 3 and 4. For each of those two chapters, I've chosen a quote that stood out to me the most. Here's the quote from chapter 3. You can make excuses or you can make progress, but you can't make both. When it comes to time, you and I are rich. Time does not discriminate. Everyone gets the exact same amount of time every single day. So if you all of a sudden have a lot more business rolling in and suddenly a lot more responsibilities to take care of in your day, you're just not going to magically receive an extra hour so that you can accomplish those extra responsibilities. If you double your family size, you're not going to magically be gifted an 8th day in a given week so that you can accomplish that much more parenting because you doubled your family. The most productive people in the world get the exact same amount of time as you and I do. And because they're highly productive, they're incredibly efficient at handling their time. Carey realized that he had to be more efficient with his time. He realized there was room for improvement. Does that sound like you? Definitely sounds like me. I've experienced that before as well. And what do you think Carey's go-to excuse was when he couldn't accomplish the things he set out to accomplish? He often said, I just don't have time for that. I'm sure you've heard of it. I'm sure you've used that very same statement, right? He had the time, he just didn't take it. He was time rich, but he felt time poor. And so once Carey finally reached that pain point of being fed up with not being able to accomplish everything that he's always set out to accomplish on a given day, he started to read books and articles, attend seminars, download apps, and studied all that he could about productivity, about time management. But he kept on bumping up against the same problem. The opportunities and responsibilities keep on stacking, but yet there's still not enough time in the day to take care of everything. Traditional time management makes you more efficient, but it doesn't make you more effective in the long run. The problem is you're trying to manage a fixed commodity. You're managing a growing list of responsibilities with a limited asset. Time doesn't grow, it doesn't expand. You can always make more money, for example, but you cannot make more time. So if we're currently using the statement, the excuse of, I just don't have time for that, we need to start eliminating that statement, that excuse from our vocabulary. And if you're someone who does use that excuse all the time, just know and understand that as you start paying attention to those words that are coming out of your mouth, it's going to take time to disrupt that pattern and change it with a new pattern. So extend yourself some grace and know that sometimes it's just going to slip out, right? But make sure to catch it right away and change it to something better. Start listening to yourself and the people around you to see how often you or others say these statements, these excuses. Oh, sorry, I just don't have time for that. I didn't have a chance to get it done. I wasn't able to finish it. I just can't. I wish I could, but there's just no way I can do it. Do you hear what those statements, those excuses have in common? None of them are entirely true. You could have, you just didn't. And so for Carey, getting dead honest about his use of his time helped eliminate the excuses that came out of his mouth. And same for me. And I know what you're saying, but I love my excuses. But you know what excuses do? They kill hopes, dreams, and goals. Eliminate the excuses and you start to move forward. Start admitting to yourself that you do have the time. Stop saying you don't have the time and start admitting that you did not make the time. You have the time for that workout. You have that time to write a book. You have time to clean the garage. You have as much time as anyone else to accomplish any one of those goals, any one of those tasks, any of those responsibilities. The question is whether you'll take it. The truth is whether you'll prioritize those responsibilities, place those responsibilities higher in priority than the other things that are sucking your time. Now that you're telling yourself the truth and resetting how you look at time, now we can shift to your overall goal. If your overall goal is to achieve balance, Carey suggests abandoning it altogether. Balance is more of a retreat rather than an advance. When people talk about life balance, it's usually a discussion about wanting less. Less work, fewer commitments, or less effort. It's hard to build a meaningful life if you're in constant retreat. Most people who accomplish significant things in life aren't balanced people, they're passionate people. You want to choose your passions carefully and then decide to embrace them fully. One of those passions could be a weekly date night. So passions don't need to be something extravagant, something amazing, something that's like changing the world, changing the planet, changing the pollution, the ocean, whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be something grandiose like that. It could also be something small. Chances are you're inspired by people who are passionate. Athletes, movie stars, musicians, CEOs. You see, balanced people don't change the world, passionate people change the world. So I hope you can start recognizing the power of fully embracing your passions, small or large. In fact, I urge you to dive into everything you do with vigorous passion. That means every little thing. Cultivate that sense of awe as if you're doing those things for the very first time. So if you're going to take a break, take it. Enjoy it. Want to take a short nap? Enjoy yourself. Don't feel guilty about it. Embrace it. Got a big project you want to tackle at work? Throw your heart into it. The key to living passionately is to focus your time on what's most important to you and choose to do those things wholeheartedly, enthusiastically. What you'll find is that enthusiasm sparks more energy. And just know, by embracing passion, that means you'll have to start limiting the things that you choose to do. Thriving calls for a wholehearted embrace, not of more, but of less. Less done very, very well. So this means that the best strategy is to focus your time on the things and the people that matter most to you. When you allow something new into your life, into your calendar, make it a new goal to pursue it passionately. Start creating a dream list. Start writing down what matters most to you, the things, the people in your life. By getting laser focused, eliminating all the excuses, and dialing in on who and what is most important to you, you'll suddenly have a few extra hours to pursue the things that you were continuously putting off because you didn't have any time. Let's dive into chapter 4. Here's the quote that stood out to me the most. Even though you have 24 equal hours in a day, not all hours feel equal. Throughout a day, your energy is up and down. It's like a roller coaster. Time feels different at different stages of the day. Not all hours in a day feel equal, do they? There's periods of the day where you're just barely getting by. You sprint yourself through some hours and drag yourself through others. When Carey realized this, he noticed that he truly only has maybe about 3 to 5 hours in a day where he is at his best, where he's alert, awake, alive, focused, and just flowing with incredible ideas. And then once he did some research on this, he came to find that this was the case for most people. Typically for most people, they're highly focused in the mornings, but less focused in the afternoons. Now this depends on you, depends on your own rhythm, but for the most part, people are most focused in the mornings and less focused in the afternoon. And this is because of our circadian rhythms, which naturally makes focusing harder in the afternoons. So you can cooperate with natural timing or you can compete with it. It's going to be way more fun and way more effective if you decide to cooperate with it. So how do you cooperate with it? You have to figure out for yourself when your peak hours are throughout the day. Again, this is different for everybody, so you have to figure it out for yourself. But for me, my peaks are definitely from, I would say, from maybe 8 a.m. to about 2 p.m. That right there, that 6-hour window is when I get my peak performance in. After that, there's a dip. And then usually after dinner, sometime between 6:30 to 8:30, I get another surge of energy, where if I had something to really dial in and focus on, that would be the prime time to focus on that something. So those are my patterns, and they stay relatively consistent. And your patterns will be different than mine, and most likely they're consistent on a daily basis. And when you're identifying this, just know that there are periods of the day where you're at your peak performance. That's where you have your highest energy. And then there's hours in the day where you have mid energy. And then there are hours of the day where you have very little energy. And what I mean by very little energy is that you're also most likely lacking in focus. You're not able to focus on tasks, on ideas, on conversations, things like that during those very low energy periods of the day. So create a pie chart and block out the periods of the day where you have intense focus or high energy, middle energy, middle focus, and very low energy, little focus. Block those out for yourself and know what they are. Of course, over time, you can make adjustments to that pie chart, but you at least want to get something down so that you can start developing a strategy for yourself. Tracking both your productivity and your mood is the key to figuring out these different time block periods on your pie chart. You can evaluate your productivity by looking at the quality and flow of your ideas, your focus, how well you lead or contribute to a meeting, how well you're able to intelligently respond to emails or text messages or have a conversation, or how quickly you move things off your task list. As you track your mood, start paying attention to how you interact with people throughout the day, how you feel about the work that you're doing. Are you in good spirits or poor spirits? Take a look at your self-talk. Is it positive? Is it negative? Notice how you interact with strangers as you're out and about taking care of errands. And if you're unable to identify these things on your own, then seek out those who you spend a lot of time with and ask them, what periods of the day am I most productive? What periods of the day does my mood tend to fluctuate? So again, as a recap, when your energy is high, your mind is clear, your focus is sharp, and you find it easy to focus, and you find it easy to think, imagine, contribute, and create. Additionally, your mindset is fresh and positive, and your physical energy is at its peak performance. When you're in your high energy zone, you have the enthusiasm for the tasks ahead. When you're at your mid-energy stage, that's pretty self-explanatory, where you're neither highly focused nor you're terribly focused. You're somewhere in the middle. Your focus, your clarity, your work is good, but it's not remarkable. And then when your energy is low, you struggle to pay attention. You zone out easily. You have a hard time following what's going on, and you might not even be listening. Not only that, you struggle to produce any good work. And since your energy is low, that typically means for self-talk, you have a negative self-talk, you're grumpy, things are irritating you because your energy is so low and you're not able to effectively operate at a peak performance, which is where we always want to be, but there's those periods of the day where our energy is just naturally low. So I hope this has been helpful. It's been a lot of fun. We'll be covering other future chapters in At Your Best by Carey Nieuwhof and other future videos, so look out for those. And if you haven't checked out the last video where I covered chapters 1 and 2, go ahead and check those out. I'll see you in the next video.